Welcome to Up the Gut, the coronavirus of XFL podcast. Because we're not as bad as people think we are.
Let's go, baby. Raise it hell today, okay? Bring the dude today, brother. Let's get it.
Come on, you gonna be standing right next to me, man? Let's go.
Do what we do now. Let's go, boys. Let's go. Let's do a thing now. Take off, kid. Take off, kid.
Run.
Far side of the 10. Step back to the 5. 10 to the end zone.
What a play.
I like that one.
I thought you would. I thought that would be a very appropriate way to start the show today. So, Up the Gut is back. I mean, we've been gone for a while. I'm Patrick, and as always, we got Matthew Archibald Ehlers with me.
Just Matt Ehlers, but yeah, we're back, baby.
Yes. So we came back right at the right time when everything stopped.
Because it's been a whole day basically without sports, and I gotta tell you, I don't like it.
Yeah, whenever Buffalo Wild Wings sends you an email and says, "No, come on over, it's okay. We'll have beer." Like they're emailing me now. Like, come on, it's okay. We'll play bowling. We can watch bowling. So welcome to Down the Lane, your bowling podcast.
Oh crap! I have nothing for bowling other than I like it.
I don't even like it. I don't even like to do it. I like nothing about it. So
I like going bowling. I'm not competitive when I do it. My only goal is to see how hard I can throw the ball.
yeah, that's basically what I do. I chuck it as hard as I can, which usually hurts me and the pins.
I haven't bowled in forever, so now I might like throw a shoulder. But when I was in my 20s, oh dude, I think I almost hit 30 miles an hour once with a 15-pound ball.
Well, there's this place, this bastion of games and fun called Main Event, and they actually clock you. So I can't remember what I got it up to, but I've pitched a ball pretty hard in my day.
Yeah, no, it was a while. Me and my parents went to the lanes on what's that airbase back home?
Whiteman?
Yeah, we were at the lanes on Whiteman, and they almost kicked us out because they're like, "You're gonna break the speedometer."
Nice.
It's in the back of the lane.
You know what this segment has proven to me?
What's that?
We can talk about anything.
Of course we can.
All right, so
we have the gift of gab.
I have the ability to make nonsense 24/7.
Yep.
So,
So,
well,
real quick
as
before we get into it,
go ahead.
Real quick before we get into it, who are our sponsors this week?
Well, this segment is brought to you by Woodford Reserve Double Oaked.
And any kind of catchphrase you made up for him?
That's Okie.
Nice.
So anyway,
and also by Red Bull and Skittles, because fuck it, sugar.
because we will stay up tonight.
That's right.
So
we'll start off with just a quick recap of the last 3 weeks that we missed. The last time we talked to everybody, we were going into week 3.
And one of us was super positive about his team.
Yes. Yes, your DC Defenders going on the road for the first time. And boy, those 2 road games were rough for DC.
Oh, it was. I mean, that's probably why no one's heard from us. I went on a bender. I started robbing banks. I was horribly distraught because, as we said right before we went on air, it wasn't just bad. It was the worst football I had seen all year. And at one point in the power rankings, they dropped to dead last. And I think you and I talked about it. And I said, they are the worst team in the league right now. And you're like, no, it's still, no, they were in that 2-game stretch by far the worst team.
They're the worst team on the road by far this season.
Oh, it's so horrible.
Yeah, but then you went home and you held St. Louis to 6 points, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, when it came time, our defense played, but it was just too little, too late. They'd already showed their colors, but I will say one thing, and maybe they're not quite as bad as. I mean, it was horrible, but You ever have that as a Buffalo Bills fan, I have watched this happen year after year. You know how you have that team that was supposed to be all right, and then they just didn't like and it didn't add up. Well, they'd
Just to yeah,
always
just
catch you. They'd always catch a team right when they figured it out. And we kind of got
yeah,
that with Josh Johnson when he came in and played us. It's like all of a sudden it started clicking for him. He was chucking 70 yards every play. Now, our defense should have stopped that, but he was catching his groove. And I mean, I don't even know who Taylor Cornelius is, but he was
yeah.
catching his groove too against us. So I think it was kind of teams were catching the, kind of putting it together a little bit with us completely falling apart. Were we too big on ourselves? I mean, I texted you on that and said, you know what? Maybe I won't be a Defenders fan anymore.
Yeah, you almost jumped ship.
And I, I'm a I'm a Bills fan for 30 plus years. I understand what it is to be a true fan, but this is a pop-up league. This is first year in, and I looked at a roster full of men, and I said, "Man, I'm going to go with these because they have ex Buffalo Bills players."
Yep.
So I have no loyalty yet. They haven't earned my loyalty. No, I didn't jump ship. I'm still rooting for them, but I tell you, if they put out too many of those, I'll just go home state.
Oh,
Or
if they go 5-5,
yeah,
win
if
all
they if
5 at
they
home and just lose all 5 on the road.
Yeah, if they play garbage, I'm not down with that. I need a
I feel
consistent
you.
team. If they play okay, I'm in. I'm locked in on you. I said I'd do it. But if you're going to play garbage, nah, I have no loyalty yet. You haven't earned it.
Yeah. And what hurts me is that both these losses to DC and to Houston when we played them, we were only 1 or 2 plays away from winning that. We had the opportunity to be 5-0.
Yeah,
So,
no, and I
St.
tell
Louis
you
has
that
been super consistent this season.
St. Louis has really impressed. I think that they're a clear number 2 in the league. I just can't get past. I mean, even the Roughnecks had the one game. Who were they playing where they were down? I already forget who that was.
Dallas, it was the Texas teams.
It was, and they started down. What was it,
Yep.
14-0, and they ended up winning that handedly. I mean,
Yeah, that's the one thing that hasn't changed in all these weeks is that Houston is still undefeated.
yep, and they're just as good as what they make themselves out to be. They
Yep.
have the talent. I don't see that there was any way they weren't going to win the whole thing. I mean, the only downside they may have is if they start going and going and they go undefeated into playoffs. Could they pull a Baltimore and be too full of themselves? Possibly,
It
but I didn't see that.
it depends on how this last half of the season goes, but it's definitely possible because they got to play all their division rivals one more time again at least, and in that time, someone could figure them out just in time for the playoffs.
Or they could just have a bad day. You just that's how football is. I mean, when it's not a series, it's just one game at a time. There's always a chance for one bad game, and there's always a chance for two bad games, like two horrible games. So
Yeah,
DT defenders are clearly the best. No, wait,
let's say and what?
nah. I was just trying to hype up my team, but I mean, when it stands, they're still what are we? The East? We're still number one.
Yeah, we have a
So
three-way tie for first, but through the tiebreakers, DC's number 1, St. Louis is number 2, and New York is number 3. And in the last 3 weeks since we last talked, Tampa Bay got their first win
yeah, no,
against
and
DC.
and there it goes to what I said before. They are starting to figure each other out. They're starting to understand how football is played. This thing was so new, it was so fresh. No preseason, it was just kind of short practice and go. So they're starting to figure it out. They're getting their rhythm. Uh, I mean, Matt Jones is run. I mean, the running game in the last 3 weeks has been completely different. I mean, it's changed so much from week one.
Yeah. Yeah, so the only real big change is that Houston defeated. But these last few games against Tampa and Dallas, they've both taken Houston to the limit. They both had a chance to close those games out and finally put something in the loss column for them. So Houston's not just going out here blowing people out. But they're playing some gritty football to get these wins in the end.
No, they are. It's not as automatic, but even when they were down 14, they ended up winning handedly. If I'm not wrong, I mean, I'm looking up some scores right now, but I was never worried
Probably by
about
too
them.
much. Yeah. Well, I mean Landry Jones. I mean
No, it
the
was
other
Seattle that went
turnover
up on them.
machine.
How dare you trick me? Seattle's the one that went up 14-0 on them.
Well, Dallas had a lead too at one point.
Ah, that doesn't matter. I mean, that was 27-20, so it was close. I mean, I guess
It was
32-23 isn't really
it,
that close.
it was close, but it shouldn't have been that close with Landry having, I think, 4 turnovers that game before he got injured.
Yeah, I mean they're showing a little bit, but the most important stat when it comes down to it is wins, and that's what
Yeah,
they ended up with. And I think Cam Phillips has like 3 or 4 Player of the Week honors, and
he he, he had those 2 back to back, but then uh week 4 he just got
9 yards. I think
stonewalled.
one
Like
catch for 9 yards.
one catch for 9 yards. Yeah, they I guess they just double teamed him or they put their best guy on him. They did something to shut him down, but then PJ just did PJ things and found other targets. He's still the MVP, but I don't think the race is as wide open as it was.
Well, Holly is real good, and if you're talking about MVP race, your boy Otai Mau was he
Yeah,
was getting some
Ta'amu, yeah.
people. Yeah, that was by the way, the 9 yards was against Dallas, and that's
Yep.
when Holly kind of stepped up. He got 97, so.
Yeah, I mean PJ's still the front runner, but Ta'amu, if he can have a good second half of the season, and if somebody can get the Roughnecks figured out, Ta'amu can come away with this.
I do like the way you're talking like there's still a chance.
There
It's
is
done.
no, I don't think it's done. Granted,
It's
though,
done.
I mean, Houston, as far as going in the playoffs, Houston's sitting real pretty with a 3-game lead with only 5 weeks left.
Oh yeah, they're like I said, if I mean watching the DC Defenders, they finally benched Cardell Jones because he fell off the tracks, man. He
Oh,
was he
he
was first
collapsed
half
hard.
Cardell Jones for I he had like 7 interceptions to no touchdowns and less than 100
Mhm.
yards across 2 games.
Yep.
That is I don't know why they didn't bench him sooner. And the problem is then they put in the backup. God, it's
Yeah, and this is for
what
his
was
first drive. He drives him down for a touchdown.
yeah, but then he doesn't really throw it. That's the problem. Well, Tyree is it
He
Tyree Jackson?
I
Yeah,
think
Tyree
so.
Jackson.
Yeah, basically,
Yeah,
he did, he oh my god, I'm blanking on his name now. He pulled a
Tim Tebow.
no, the guy in San Francisco. Why
Oh,
am I blanking on his name?
I don't
The
know.
the
You
the
just made me
the
blank.
yeah, the backup to Brady. You know who I'm talking about.
I know everybody knows who you're talking about, and everybody knows the name except us. They're yelling at us right now.
It's because for me, it's because all this sugar. I'm just so hopped up.
My problem is I didn't prepare because I'm just so angry about how everything's been panning out here. It's just been ridiculous. So
Garoppolo,
yeah, Jimmy
Jimmy G.
G. There we
Yeah,
go.
basically,
See,
your quarterback pulled a Jimmy G. You lean on the run game, and you only throw when you absolutely have to.
and we did have a running game. We had
Yes, you did.
Presley went over 107 against you guys.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, it
I
was
think he's
just
the first guy to go over 100 in a game, ain't he? Or maybe the second. We haven't had too many of
no,
those.
no. It's been popping up a little bit more and a little bit more. Like I said, these. Well, here, let me. I think I just pressed the wrong button, uh, but overall, I mean, even if you look at just the way the Vipers Wildcats game went this last
Oh
week,
my god, that was a game. Oh,
41-34. I mean, come on.
that was a
And,
great
and
game.
there's not even 200 yards rushing between the two teams.
No, they were just airing it out.
And who is T. Cornelius throwing for 300 yards, 2 touchdowns? Josh Johnson almost 300 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yep.
I mean, this is just getting insane the way these things are working out, but I like it. I don't know if we're going to get rid of Cardell or what, but we signed another quarterback, Collins, I believe was his name.
I
I
think
just
at
saw
some
that.
point, I think at some point he's going to get one more shot to see if he can get out of this funk.
And watching it, clearly he's having issues, but how much of it is coaching and play calling, and maybe they're putting too much on his plate with everything before all the reads. I don't know, but there's several of them where he'd throw the ball and in his interception spree, and there'd be 4 guys around. Well, if there's 4 guys that close to one receiver, there has to be somebody open. So is he not seeing it, or is he going to where he's supposed to based off the play call? That's the stuff that we don't know because we're not Pat McAfee and we don't get to sit on the sidelines.
Yeah. I mean, as far as the coaching and stuff, it couldn't have changed that much because he didn't just get a little inaccurate. He fell right off of his groove and
Well,
just
I mean,
face
7
planted,
interception in
basically.
2 weeks will do that to you.
Yeah. But I can't see the coaching and the offense changing so drastically that it threw him off that bad.
Yeah, but we were doing so good those first 2 weeks, and like I said, first half, that's kinda how he played, but second half, he seemed to pull it together, and you would assume that if he had it in him and he could figure it out in the second half, he'd eventually figure it out, not completely forget what football was.
Yeah. Like I said, I just don't know because it's it's so weird to see someone at any level of the game just completely fall off like that. That
Yeah,
almost
and
never happens.
yeah, it was I mean, he's got the yips. He just can't he got it in his own head.
Yeah. I mean, I hope he
He
gets out of it. He seems like a really good dude.
Yeah, I he was
And
very popular coming out of Ohio. He was if he would have come out a year earlier, he probably would have still been on an NFL team. They would have invested more into him. But
you
since he
know,
waited a year, it didn't he wasn't as hyped up when he come out. So then he went to Buffalo, but he was never able to crack into the backup role. So then off he went and this was his chance to show that he was the hype and clearly he's not. PJ
yeah.
Walker, look for him in the NFL this season as some sort of backup. Josh Johnson may get a second try. I mean,
I-
it's
if Cam Williams has another few games like he did, he could be there too.
yeah, and Cam Phillips he'll get a try somewhere. So I wouldn't be surprised if Holly didn't get a try. There'll be several people that these teams are going to hurt, but there's going to be a whole new group coming out of college that they won't.
Yeah. Or coming out of the NFL, having to go
Yeah,
down. Well, I hate to say go down to that level, but I guess
I
that's
mean
not
that's what
inaccurate
it is.
either.
We're not going to kid ourselves. Yeah, everybody knows what it is. At some point in time, could the XFL be a destination where they would say, "Oh, I don't want to get drafted in the NFL. I'm going to go to the XFL." There is a slim possibility, but as of right now, this is your developmental league. This is where people who can't do it in the NFL go. This is where I mean, no one's going to pick the XFL over the NFL right now. It's just not going to happen. Pay wise, competition
Yeah.
wise, everything wise. You're just not going to do it.
Yeah, I mean the only reason you would pick the XFL over the NFL is if you're literally in it just to have fun. Because I'll go ahead and say the XFL is way more fun.
It does seem to be that way. Now we just need to bring back those old cheerleaders.
I wouldn't mind cheerleaders as long as we don't try to do the WWE thing like, oh, we're in their locker room. Goo, 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 goo.
Nah,
We
that's
don't need that.
exactly what I want. Like halftime, just have them dance. I don't know something. Halftime's short enough; they can do a dance.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh yeah.
uh, so anything else in the last 3 weeks you saw that we really need to touch on, other than the DC Defenders sucking for 2 weeks?
Not really. Like I said, Tampa got their first win, which is good for them, but they're still trying to get some stuff figured out. I mean, they're still 1-4, but it was good to see them finally get that win and get that off their chest.
Yeah,
But
it's good, and Cornelius is coming into his own. He's chucking the ball, and they're competitive. Not they weren't competitive before; they're competitive now. I think everybody's shown blast. If you really had to push me to say, if I had to do a power rankings, I think Dallas would be really low, and I think
New
I
York,
would. No, no, they
no,
even have shown some uh, upside. I
but
think
not
the
not
DC
against
Defenders.
not against the top teams though.
Yeah, but who's really the top team right now? If I was to, I say LA Wildcats are one of the top teams. I would say Seattle's down there pretty low. I might put New York over
Seattle's also
Seattle.
1-4.
So
I
if
would
I
put
had to do one, I
I
would
would put
say
New York over Seattle. I think I would put Seattle last.
if I had to pick right now, it'd be Houston, followed up by St. Louis, followed up by LA, Guardians, Defenders, Vipers, Dragons, Renegades. I think that'd be my power rankings.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just kind of feeling the way they watch, because I mean, everybody can have a good game, everybody can have a bad game, but just feeling my feelings more come from the gameplay than they do from the stats, the scores. Just watching them, how they play, how they react to stuff. That's how I do it. In Seattle's usually in a game, but not very good.
Yeah. I mean, again, they did play Houston pretty tough, but yeah, other than that, you can definitely see the struggles in Seattle.
I mean, 1-4, it's not good.
No, it's not. Well, same with Tampa, but the problem is in the East at 1-4. If Tampa can get their act together, they can still come away with uh, second place, maybe even win this division.
It's over.
Granted, a couple other things have to happen in their favor, but it's not impossible.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. They're only 2 games back. The defenders aren't looking stellar by any means. The Guardians are looking better, but still up and down. So the only one that's really solid is the Battlehawks, and they kind of had a little bit of a stall out against my defenders. So I guess if I got nothing else, at least that I got to win over your team, because I did talk a lot of smack in the beginning.
Yep. Yeah, no, your defense has come up big at home in 3 games. So I just think you have to get your road woes figured out. You guys are going to be all right.
Yeah, and it'll come. I think the biggest thing we need to figure out is we need a quarterback and or receivers. I don't know exactly who to put the blame on. I don't think Tyree was ever really meant to be that good of a quarterback. He was always kind of that run option quarterback. So I think we need to have a passer in there. We've got some good running backs that can do the running, and our defense has proven it can do it. But like a lot of defenses, you get your offense gets you ahead, and then you pin your ears back and put on constant pressure because they're going to have to throw the ball. So
Yep.
it's not that easy, but it is that easy.
Yeah, it's just all about momentum.
Now, damn it, Archibald, give me your power rankings.
I would agree with keeping Houston first, just because they still have been beaten. You can't argue with that. Uh, I'll I'll put St. Louis as second, but
It's
it's not
clear
a.
second. It's a clear second.
I mean, yeah. I don't think DC is as bad as we make them out to be.
You can't
I
have that bad of a showing and still, like, anybody can win a game any given week. So
Yeah,
our defense came up. We were at home. You guys have shown that you play good on the road, but we came out on top. But it wasn't a blowout. It wasn't anything big. If it wasn't for that blocked punt, it would have been 9-6, or I think it was 9-6. That would have been the score. That's by no means a blowout. It's not what we should have done at home. So even though we may have won, I still think the St. Louis Battlehawks is a clear second. I can't see anybody that I'd put up against them week by week.
but I would still put DC at third then, because I still think if they can get their road stuff figured out, they're a top team.
Okay. All right. I'm not going
I'll
to
put
argue with you
DC
too
at
much.
3, but DC at 3, LA at 4. Mm, I'll put
You're
I'll put
very
now.
high on the Sea Dragons, and I don't know why. I can
No,
feel your body like wanting to put them up there.
no. Right now I'm fighting between Dallas and New York. I want to put Dallas at 5, but I haven't got to see a lot of their new quarterback yet because Landry Jones is hurt.
Yeah, and that's the
Granted,
problem.
by the time this thing gets cracking again, he might be back.
It's true. And the problem I have is with Landry, they're good enough that I probably would put them there.
But
But
he
he
has so
started
many
off injured. He's already injured again. I can't count on him. So that's why I knocked him down, because when he's gone, they're not good at all.
Yeah.
Stop making me influence your power rankings, Ailers. Just do it.
No. I'm still gonna put Dallas at 5 for now, with New York at 6. New York at 6. I'll put Tampa at 7, Seattle at 8.
All right, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I really, I mean, I don't like anything about LA, but I have a lot of hope for this team. Josh Johnson, I like what he's doing. He's leading. He's chucking the ball everywhere. I like it. So I'd watch out for them. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't come up. And if there was a playoffs, if we get a playoff, I wouldn't be surprised if they weren't the ones that upset the Roughnecks.
I wouldn't mind seeing that. I mean, unless it's my team that I'm actually been rooting for all year, I'll usually root for the underdog.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of rooting for the underdog. I mean, I like rooting for heels too. So I like the bad guys.
Yes, you
There's
do.
usually a better story with them, but we don't really have a bad guy team, do we? Other than
I wouldn't
McGloin,
say
but
Hu-
I haven't heard
I'd
anything
say
out of him in a while.
I wouldn't say Houston's a bad guy team. They just
No,
can't be.
everybody loves them. They're the
They just can't be
darlings.
beat.
Yeah, they're just the darlings. I think if McGloin
They're
still be
they're they're
playing, he
the
would
early
be.
2000s John Cena of the XFL.
There you go. And I think that I missed it, but I think Cardell had a McGloin level meltdown and started blaming everybody. I think that's ultimately what got him benched. It wasn't even his bad play.
I don't know because he seemed to have a really good attitude when he is benched and your backup came in and led that touchdown drive. He went out, celebrated with him. He wasn't just sitting on the bench looking all bitter. I like how he
Yeah,
responded to it.
he might have. Like I said, I might have missed it, and maybe I'm wrong, but I thought I had read somewhere where he kind of started blaming everybody.
I mean, he might have, and a lot of athletes do that, especially athletes that are expected to be the starter, have are set to be a starter, and then things just go awry. I think it's more of a reaction than anything.
Yeah, it's tough. I know it's tough, and you're playing a game and you want to win. And I mean, whenever you start being a better podcaster on here, I get a little mad, but I don't yell at you like, Ailers, don't you be trying to outshine me. That's not how this works. This is all about me, Ailers. This is my XFL podcast. Don't you be out trying to outdo me. See, I can't do that.
No,
I just
I think
accept it because we complement each other. When I go down, you lift it up. And when you go down, I don't lift it up because I want you to look bad.
I'd say we're pretty even on here. I don't think one of us is really that much better than the other.
No, I think that much like the XFL season, I think you're going to catch your groove sooner rather than later, and I'm hoping that you just kind of take the reins on this. This is your baby. I'm not even going to deny it. You should be the star of the show. I should just be kind of the guy in the background. I'll be your hype man.
Well, I don't need a hype, man. I did this so we could be equals and we could both just have a way to talk about football and maybe entertain some people in the process.
Well, I guess I mean it's true, but I guess that uh, we should start getting into the fact that up the gut is changing
For
because
now, yeah, because the XFL has been stopped
so
for
we're going to go
for
ahead and just throw this out here. Currently, the XFL will not be playing its regular season games. However, all players will be paid their base pay and benefits for the 2020 regular season. All XFL ticket holders will be issued refunds or credit toward future games. The XFL is committed to playing a full season in 2021 and future years. Official XFL statement.
So do you think that means they're not going to finish this season then?
Depends on how quick the mass hysteria calms down. As it is right now, they're wanting people to do a basically 3-week quarantine. They're starting to move towards 4-week quarantine. So if there's only 5 weeks left and we're out for the next 4, there's a possibility, but it's also maybe not a possibility. You never know.
Yeah. I mean, I think it'd be good for them to do it because even if we wait 5 weeks and then finish it, because we have the 5 weeks left of regular season plus the 2 weeks of playoffs, we can still have
But
it done before the NFL's like preseason and training camps all start up. It'd be perfect timing almost.
will riddle me this, Matthew.
Hmm.
Are the players allowed to practice? Are the players allowed to be around each other? Are they allowed to do anything, or are they sitting at home quarantined waiting for it to start back up? Because I wouldn't expect if you're going to have to sit for the next 3 to 4 weeks, I wouldn't expect them to come back and play anything. That'd be pretty tough.
I think they want to though. That's why they're in the XFL to begin with. It's kind of their last shot. And just because you're quarantined doesn't mean you can't just do some self improvement at home.
And I'm not saying I don't agree with you, but as devil's advocate, think about it this way. You're PJ Walker and Cam Phillips, the dynamic duo. You guys have been lighting it up. And now you have
Yeah.
to sit. What happens if you come back and you do a week or one regular season week and then you go into the playoffs? That's still darn. Say you even win that one. Maybe you don't look as good. People put it off as rust. But then you go into the first playoff game and you get blown out or you just lose and you don't look that good. Is that what you want when the NFL is getting ready to start up? Do you think they're going to want to come out and possibly flub it up because they've been sitting for the last 5 weeks, 4 weeks, three
No,
weeks?
but I think they'll still want that chance to come out and prove that they can still put out a good, a good product, even though this has happened.
Yeah,
I
but
think. I
they've
think.
already got the resume. All they can do now is hurt it.
I don't know. I think with this happening, if they can come out and still put on a great second half of the season and give us some good playoff games, I think it would just kind of be a, an even better narrative than what we've already had so far.
That's what I would like to see is to see them come out, and I hope that they still let them practice. I mean, they got medical faculty, right? They can keep track of some of this stuff. So I'd like to see them come out. I would, but I could see the argument for not starting it back up.
Yeah, I can too. And with that statement, it definitely you could definitely take it away that they might not want to risk it, being as fact they're already talking about the 2021 season. But just me as a fan, I would love to see them come back and give it a shot.
Yeah, I would too, because I'm not. My biggest worry with this is if they go and they don't come back within the next 5 weeks, 4 weeks. People are going to start with the narrative that the XFL was a flash in the pan. It's not meant to last. Look what happened. And I don't think that's true at all. I think that they've proven that they can be around for a while, that people want to watch it. They've sold the tickets, they've sold the merchandise. I think that it's here to stay. But if they don't come back whenever they got a chance, I think that could start a narrative that none of us want because I'd like to see this again next year. I'd like to be able to have up the gut NFL right back into up the gut XFL, right back into up the gut NFL. Like that's what I want for us, for you guys, for the people listening, for our 10 subscribers on YouTube. Like,
Yeah,
subscribe, comment,
listen,
smash
Li-
something, smash
like
everything.
you have to ring the bell. All the cool kids ring the bell.
Ding ding. All
Uh,
right, so where are we going with this? What are we doing? Line
well,
it
that's
out for me.
well, that's pretty much our XFL recap. I mean, we ran through the past 3 weeks, and whenever we get back, we honestly, when we get back, we just gotta see who's gonna finally pull away out there in the East with this three-way tie.
I look forward to doing the show live just so we can have comments that we can react to because that would be perfect right now. I was thinking a lot about this, and maybe this isn't the time since we are recording. And if this isn't the time, you got that nice editability, so you go with it. But I know that we do a lot of recaps and a lot of by the stats type of stuff,
Yeah,
and I enjoy that, and I think we do a really good job in keeping people up on this stuff. But I think we need to start shifting a little bit more towards just us, talking about football. Anybody can look up stats. We don't need to sit there and read stats to everybody. Not everybody can have us have the Archibald and Patrick link
S-
talking football every week.
still not my name, but I see what you're saying
I don't understand this whole thing you always say, like, this is not my name.
because it's not.
I've been
It never.
calling you that for years. I'm pretty sure that's your name. I would know.
I'm pretty sure it's not. You do know that's where the problem comes in.
I don't. I'm pretty sure I'm correct in this. You're in my phone. It says Matthew Archibald Ehlers.
Yeah, but you can put my name in there as anything. It doesn't mean it's right.
I'm pretty sure it's on the internet too. So internet doesn't lie.
Nothing that I keep track of.
Well, if it's not, it will be soon. So we've hit a conundrum, a quandary, a setback here at Up the Gut. We
We
don't
had for a
have
little while, yeah.
we don't have anything to talk about football related.
Not football
All
related,
the
no.
all the NFL, the prospect visits to teams have been canceled.
Yeah.
There's not really anything for us to talk about. So what do we do? I mean, we
I mean,
just took like a 2-week hiatus and it about killed me. I think I got 3 ulcers off of this.
I know, and you were robbing banks, and I mean, at
It
least
was
you kept
bad.
busy.
It was really bad.
I mean,
This
it's a
segment brought to
blessing.
you by banks. Don't rob them.
I mean, this could be a blessing and a curse because yeah, we don't have anything football to talk about, but now we can talk about whatever we want.
Yeah. Let's talk about your name.
Yes, Matthew Ehlers.
Matthew Archibald Ehlers. So let's see
No,
we're on the same page.
no, not Archibald. There's no Archibald in there. There never has been.
I
My
don't
parents,
know.
my parents wouldn't name me that.
Well, then they're missing out on something wonderful. So
Well, I don't
I
think as a parent you can change your kid's name when he's 36.
I why not? I changed your name when you're like 33. Why
Well,
can't anybody else?
well, you didn't change it. It's just what you call me, and you're not my parent. I'm older
Yeah.
than you.
Yeah, but eventually this is gonna it's either gonna catch on or people are gonna get tired of hearing of it, but I'm gonna love it forever. There will never ever be a time I won't enjoy saying Matthew Archibald Ehlers. It's so regal. Like William Regal, probably the best wrestler in history. So powerful.
He is a legend. I'll give him that. He had a long good career in the business.
Well, what do you want to do with the remainder of this episode, and what do you want to leave them hanging with for next week?
Well, let me see how long we've been here now because we've watched our
38 minutes. There'll be a little bit of editing in there because I had to get myself centered.
yeah.
Maybe you can take some of that and put it in the intro, like breathe.
We got time, and you said you did have some grievances you wanted to air. Now's as good a time as any.
Well, I mean, my biggest thing is the reason we're not able to discuss this. The reason we're not having any more XFL going on right now. The coronavirus.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to
It-
come off as insensitive because to some people, this is a horrible thing. There
yeah.
are people
It-
who have suffered from it, people who have died from it in this country. It is just a fraction of the percentage of people that died from the swine flu, H1N1, from the bird flu. But you and I both were old enough to remember those, to be a
Yep.
part of those, to be functioning as adults during those.
Yep.
Did they shut anything down? Did you miss out on anything? Did you even really think anything of it?
No.
I
Yeah. No.
remember the bird flu. I just thought those crazy Chinese people need to stop wearing their little medical mask. It wasn't anything big to me. And I understand that I'm also at the time in my 20s, now still in my mid 30s. So not the key demographic that needs to worry about this. But the way I've been putting it is March Madness wasn't canceled. It was just switched over to the coronavirus.
Yeah. No, because they're still gonna play the games. Just there's gonna be no fans there, which
No,
is gonna be super weird.
no, no. All the games are canceled.
Really.
Yeah, the only one still going is wrestling, and I just watched SmackDown with 0 fans. It was weird. It was funny. I liked it. John Cena didn't, but it was different. It really
Well, no.
was.
John Cena's got to play off the crowd. If there's no crowd, he's just some guy yelling.
Yeah, I think they're turning him heel for this match against Bray Wyatt. Wait, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about this. You may have to cut that out.
We can talk about whatever we want now. Football's currently over.
No, but I have this other podcast that's all in kayfabe, so I don't think I'm allowed to talk about it because to maintain kayfabe, I have to be kayfabe all the time. So I don't know how that'll work out. Hopefully, we
That's
don't have
not
a cross section of audience.
that's not true because the wrestlers maintain kayfabe in the ring, but they talk out of character all the time now. The
That's
wrestling
true,
never
but
got,
we were trying
wrestling
to
wrestling
get. Go ahead. Go ahead.
wrestling never got more popular until the day when they finally admitted to the world that it's staged. Once that
Well,
happened, they gained so many more fans, and I don't think anybody expected that when it happened.
Yeah, it was kind of tongue in cheek, but it got in those people that wouldn't watch it because they didn't want people thinking, "Oh, well, you think wrestling's real? You must be dumb." No, so then the people that when they start coming out that, yeah, of course it's a show. Then they're like, "Oh, now I can watch this." But who loves kayfabe more than anybody in the world?
You and Chris?
No, I mean that's a good answer, but no, one Vincent McMahon.
That's true.
And
But I
so
mean,
if you were trying to possibly eke out a way to get in his good graces, what better way to do that than to live a 24/7 kayfabe life and have a podcast?
true. But I mean, Stone Cold has a podcast that's not kayfabe, and he loves that guy.
He has to love that guy. How much money did he make him?
I mean, all the wrestlers make him a bunch of money because people
Not
pay to
all of
watch the
them.
whole show. Well, people pay to watch the whole show, whether they go to watch a particular wrestler or not.
Pardon me, I almost died right there.
I heard. Yeah.
Anyway, some people do not pay to watch the whole show. Some people
I mean, you
pay
do.
to
They
watch
only
a specific person. I mean, I think that John Cena has sold a ton of shows. I don't think people
sure.
were there to watch Hype Bros. I
No,
was.
but you still pay for the whole show.
You do
You
pay
can't.
for the whole show, but I'm saying that Stone Cold got more people to shows than Stevie Richards, regardless of how much he showed us and how much we saw.
Oh, Stevie.
I love him. I'll show you. You'll
You'll
see.
see.
So my point is of course he's got. I mean, Stone Cold doesn't even wrestle and still making him money. Do you think that all this stuff is just Stone Cold stuff? No, a lot of it's WWE branded stuff.
Yeah. No,
Straight
and
up
I
Steve
get it.
Austin. I think that's
Straight up Steve
WWE.
Austin, Ms. and Mrs.
Yeah,
Up, down, down on YouTube.
yes. Now, let's talk about that for a second. Is it
Oh,
too
down,
soon to
down.
switch over to that? I mean, we're just kind of free flowing, right?
Yeah.
So just touch on whatever. So I watch up, down, down. Mostly, I just watch Battle of the Brands,
Yeah.
which I have for one of the first times in my life switched allegiances. But we'll get to that. But I watched one Xavier Woods play the new Final Fantasy VII demo, which I
Yeah.
played. It's wonderful. Uh, Maybe I'm too nostalgic about it, but they didn't switch too much. It kind of they did, they added to the story. But I
Yeah.
was watching him play, and I had to start trying to I don't usually comment on stuff. I just watch it, but I started commenting because he needed some tips. He needed some pointers because he was missing some stuff. So I had to help him out there.
Well, I think it's just because it plays very different from the original. So even if you played the original a whole bunch, you're gonna get in there and it's gonna feel very different. And you can miss a couple things just trying to, getting immersed into the new gameplay. But
No,
I
of
mean,
course. It's completely different. I mean, I played mostly Final Fantasy 7 and 10, which
yeah,
play very similar. So uh, I tried 12, which would 12 actually plays very similar to this, and are a lot closer to this than 7 and 10 do. And I didn't really get into that because it was so different. But this hits enough of the nostalgia bullet points that
yeah,
I'm okay with it, and I really enjoyed it. But watching him play it, just some stuff that I picked up on through my gameplay, I wanted to help him out and maybe get him to, and see some of the stuff that he could be doing.
yeah.
But on Battle of the Brands, it's Woods against
Prince Pretty.
Breezy, yeah, Prince Pretty, old Tyler Breeze, and I've been Team Breeze from the get go. Like I watched the first season of it from the beginning,
Yeah,
Team Breeze. But
I get that.
but this last episode, I don't even know what turned the tides for me because Woods has been losing really bad this entire time.
The
And
entire.
I think it's just because he looks so defeated. And we talked about it, the underdog. He's officially become a major underdog. So I am switching allegiances because we're going to have the comeback of the century. We're forming the butt cheeks and they're going to clap. And Woods is going to get the win. So Team Woods here now. If you haven't watched it, watch it. It's up, down, down. Way more popular than us. If you found us and not them, that's weird.
I mean, I I'm not mad about that. That's
No,
fantastic.
that'd be super wonderful, but no, they definitely have something going there. I'd like to have WWE backing me and doing stuff. And one of the things really nice about this Battle of the Brands this year is all the wrestlers they're using, they'll actually have them cut promos. So they'll pause what they're doing and have them cut promos like it is
Yeah.
in their game. So,
I'm just happy to see Zelina Vega on the right show finally.
yes, I mean it's about time they figured it out. But what about the new heavyweight champion, Drake Maverick?
Oh no, he lost it. Big
No,
E got it back. Oh no, Big E's the WWE
that was
champion.
Adam
That's right.
Cole. Yeah, Adam Cole had it, and then Big E got it, and then Aiden English lost the World Heavyweight Championship to Drake
To
Maverick.
Drake Maverick, all
Yes,
108 pounds of them.
that is the World Heavyweight Champion.
Yes, it it kind of reminds me of you remember Crash Holly, the super heavyweight?
I remember Crash Holly, but I don't remember that part of it. But
Yeah,
I
he always carry the scale to the ring and be like, I'm 400 pounds, and he's like a buck 50.
oh, that's funny. Oh, you got to remember though, I didn't really get into wrestling till like 2004.
Yeah,
So I've done a lot of research since then and watched a lot of the old stuff. I've read so many different wrestlers' books, but I didn't get into it until later. So my key years were '04 to like '08.
yeah.
And then now, of course, the last probably 2-3 years I've been very invested in it.
I only get into certain people because a lot of the storylines are dumb. Like that thing with Eric Rowan, that was a terrible payoff with that
Yeah,
stupid spider.
it had potential. It really did for something.
I'd rather Hornswoggle been in that cage. That would have been so much better than a dumb fake spider.
Yeah, I don't know. It had potential because I really wanted to know what was in there, and I don't want to know now. But I mean, Drew McIntyre kind of ended that. But I think uh, I think Eric Rowan, he'll be doing something soon, probably uh, Wyatt related, because that's when he was probably at his best.
I do miss the old Wyatt family.
Yeah, well, you're about to get a new one. I actually had in the
Well, I don't know
rumor mill, new
because
Shield, new Wyatt family.
Bray's on his own doing his thing.
Not for that people make that
Luke
argument, but that's not true.
Luke's not even, I don't think, with the company anymore.
No, no, that's why it had to be called the new Wyatt family because Luke's gone,
And that makes me sad because I really
and
like
so
Luke
is Dean
Harper.
Ambrose. And remember, I said new Shield too,
Yeah.
which I like Dean Ambrose better on WWE. I don't like his AEW character.
No, I love John Moxley.
I don't. He just I don't know. Everything about him just makes me think disinterest. Like Chris Jericho, I can get behind, but John Moxley, I
Um,
can't.
it's Le Champion.
Yes, it is Le Champion, and he's got a little bit of the bubbly, but
I do
I
want to
can
try a
get
little
behind
bit.
him. I mean, the inner circle right now is dominating AEW completely. Of course, just do not cross Orange Cassidy because you don't want to mess with that.
Freshly squeezed.
He is by far the best thing that AEW has,
Oh, absolutely.
and they don't even utilize it the way they
But
should yet.
well, I think they do. The whole nonchalant thing has been his character since the Independence Circuit.
Oh, I know, and I get it, but he still is nonchalant, but it's not nonchalant backstage all the time. I mean, he needs to get a little more involved in some stuff. But I think one of my favorite things, and I don't watch a lot of AEW because I think they got a lot of growing to do. It's
Yeah,
like NXT is kind of along the same lines where they're catching their footing, trying to figure it out, kind of like the XFL. They haven't quite figured stuff out yet, but
I
NXT
don't
I
know
think
because
is
NXT has been around for a lot longer than AEW and the XFL, and they put on some fantastic pay-per-views.
they put on fantastic shows. They put on I
Yes,
like what they do, and they're so far ahead, I think, of AEW. But the thing about them is they could be around for a decade, 2 decades. It doesn't matter because up until they got their airtime, they were cycling through and bringing in new talent because they were the developmental. They were teaching people and then moving them up to the main roster.
Well, they
I
still
mean,
are
look,
the developmental because all those
n-
guys are just competing to get on the main rosters.
that's not true. That's not true. They
No,
are not. No,
you don't think so?
no, not since they got USA. They are now their own brand. That's why Finn Balor went back. Ricochet's going back is the rumor. I mean, Charlotte's competing for the NXT championship. They're making it its own brand now too, because as much as people want to say there's a new wrestling war between AEW and WWE, there's not, because they can't compete against Raw and SmackDown. They're just never going to get there. So they're competing against NXT on Wednesday
I would
nights.
I wouldn't say never. I
Oh, I
think they're
would
on the
say
right track.
never. I don't think so.
No,
Not since Cody got the neck tattoo. That I can't watch him now. It always looks like he's trying to stretch his neck out really weird.
you think
I can't do that.
that's gonna be
Like
the downfall of AEW's the next time
it is. Just watch. People are gonna get tired of watching him look like he's stretching his neck out really weird. I can't handle that. I can't watch it because of that.
too.
Like if he's wearing a suit and there's only just a little bit popping up, I'm okay. But if he doesn't have a shirt on, I can't do it.
I
And I
don't
mean,
watch.
they got Gold Dust out there, and I love Gold Dust.
No,
They got
not.
Orange Cassidy. I love Orange Cassidy. I watch
I love
BTE all the time.
I love
So
Luchasaurus.
yeah, I mean, I can get behind him. I don't watch AEW enough to see him. So, but he what I have seen, he's funny. Uh,
Oh, he's
so
fantastic.
they have some bright spots. They do,
S-
but
Not just bright spots. I honestly think of right. I mean, I know it's still new, but I think at this current moment they are putting out a better product. Now, whether or not it
then
lasts
who?
than WWE. Now, whether or not it
No,
lasts
God
is
no.
yes,
I
because
think
all the
Raw's better. I think SmackDown's better, and I think NXT is better. I'd probably say NXT UK is better, and I haven't even seen that.
I do like NXT UK. Walter is the shit.
Yeah, I don't even watch that, and I'd say it's better. On a regular basis, they can't touch it. Are they doing stuff? Yes, but I watched. Do you remember? It's probably been a month or so back. One of the guys in the Dark Order was speaking of that. When they get Matt Hardy, I might start watching more. I think that'll be interesting. But one of the guys in the Dark Order was throwing a punch and just like completely missing Dustin Rhodes' face, and so they even BTE made fun of it. It was sad. I watched an Inner Circle and Elite Beatdown, and they were doing very similar punches. It's just they're minor leagues, and they're not ready to step up to the majors yet. That's how I look at it.
Again, I wouldn't call them minor leagues. They're new, but a lot of these guys have been in the business for a long time.
I don't disagree with you, but with their production quality, with their matches, I'm just not seeing what I'm getting from the WWE. Now, you also got to remember, I watch for a different reason than most people. I love the goofy ass storylines. One of my favorite wrestlers to watch is Baron Corbin. That dude is amazing at his craft. He cracks me up. Not only the way he talks slow just to piss people off, but his in-ring work is probably some of the best stuff I've seen in a long time. The deep six, the end of days, his baseball slide around. I mean, all that stuff is just golden.
Yeah.
So I'm not looking for now. I've seen some Young Bucks match and the just nonstop flip here, slam there, body slam there, and they're just bouncing around like jumping beans. I get why that would be exciting, but that's not what I'm after when I watch wrestling.
See, I love that stuff. I love when it gets like real high speed. That's why I'm so happy to see guys like uh Pac or Neville or however you remember him.
The Bastard Pack.
Yes, because when he
We
was
just call him the
Neville,
Bastard in my world. Yeah, I
because
know.
when he was Neville, he was one of my favorites. I
See,
was very
I liked him, but he always seemed disinterested because he wasn't happy where he is. At least that's what I thought.
well. He
But
wasn't.
then he come here and
That's why
he's
he left and went to AEW, and he's having
yeah,
a great old time.
but he still seems a little bit disinterested. I don't know.
That's
Maybe he's just one of those
that's his
guys that's too
character.
good.
That's what being the bastard is all about. It's like you're never having fun. You just want to hurt people.
Yeah, I mean he is a bastard.
Like he's not even chasing a title anymore. He just wants to fight people. That's it. That's his whole thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think that I'm gonna get in trouble. I hope Chris doesn't listen to our stuff. We have gone so far out of kayfabe. You son of a gun.
Well, but it's a totally different podcast. When people listen to you, they'll be like, "Oh, yep, that's because your website says that yours is kayfabe. That's what's coming to be expected." But we are outs. We you and I are outside of that for now.
Yeah, I
But
didn't I didn't think we'd I didn't think that there would come a time where the XFL would get suspended and I would have to talk about whatever, and there are very few things in my life that I'm super passionate about. Super passionate about my family,
you know,
super passionate about football,
yep,
and I'm passionate about wrestling
yep,
and Harry Potter.
okay.
So,
I'm
not a
not.
whole lot else I'm gonna talk about, so it's probably gonna circle about to our common interest, which is football and wrestling, because I don't think you like my family as much as I do, which makes sense.
It's not. I love your family because I like your family because your family makes you happy, and
That's
that's
a good
fantastic.
point, but you're not gonna
I'm.
wanna talk about what Patrick did today or what Kirsten told me. That's not
Oh,
gonna interest you.
I'm just the family life. I don't think is for me, mostly because I know me, and I don't have the patience to raise a kid, let alone four of them.
I have a feeling that you are not gonna raise your kid, you're gonna raise someone else's kid.
No, never. I
Stepdaddy Archibald.
negative. I can't date a woman with kids. I can't do it.
Oh, Oilers. No, I
I
don't
can't.
know. I mean, I
I
always
can't
knew that
even
I'd
date a
have a
woman.
family.
I can't even date a woman that wants kids.
That's weird. You're in the right era, man. They're
It's
they're
not that
becoming more and more
it's not
apt
that
to
it's
not want
weird.
kids.
It's because I know me, and I'll admit that I'm out of all my friends, all of my people I know that are my age. I'm probably one of the most immature. I'm still pretty much live and act like I'm in my 20s still.
I think I have a couple of friends that would give you a run for your money, but
A couple, like I said, I'm not saying I'm the top of the list, but I'm up there.
nah, I just think that I don't think that it's you're living like I just think you're more of a go with the flow type of guy, which
I It's just I don't have a lot of money or free time to myself, but and I know this sounds super selfish, but it's true. What I do have, I like to keep as mine. Like
yeah.
because I remember when I was a kid and my dad would have a day off, but he had to have us spend his day off working around the house and doing stuff for us. He never actually had a day off, and
Yeah,
I don't I can't do that.
see, I think that with anything, as you shift into a new part of your life, whether it be having kids or a new career, your life just kind of shifts around it, and then your interests shift with it. I always knew I'd have kids. I'd always knew that I'd have multitude of kids. So having four hasn't really surprised me, and I luckily have a wife who handles most of the day to day operations for the kids because I'm usually out working, but I mean, that's whenever I get downtime and I get to mess around with them, I mean, it's hilarious. I enjoy it. I think you would too. You just don't know it because it's never been a part of your life. But if it became part of your life,
Well, no, because
you'd
I've
enjoy
hung
it.
out with other people's kids, and
Yeah, I
I
hate
can
other
handle
people's
kids.
kids.
Well, I can handle kids in small doses, but I can handle kids in small doses, but if I'm actually like responsible for a kid, like I have to keep it alive and
That's why you just
you
marry
know
someone that's a lot better at it than you are.
that's the only way it could happen.
But
It,
again, I don't necessarily hate everybody else's kids. I'm just like my kids a lot more than I like other people's kids. Someone's gonna listen to that and be like, "Man, Patrick doesn't like my kids." Probably not, but I wouldn't say that.
well, yeah, and I would never say that I hate your kids because I've been around them. They're sweet kids. I can it's
You've
just
been
me.
around some of them.
I can only take kids just in general for so long because
No,
they
I
don't
get
have
you.
they don't have anything for me to talk about, and I can't fake it like, oh, that's so cool that you did this thing that I've never heard of or that I've heard of like 100 times.
Yeah,
I
or when you
that's my
spend
biggest problem.
time
I can't fake the funk with kids.
celebrating potties.
Yeah. Or like, I was outside today, and do you know what I did? No, I don't know what you did. I did a thing like, no, no, you misunderstood me. I don't know what you did means I don't care.
Yeah, that changes when you have your own. I guarantee it. And again, you may or may not ever get there. I don't know. That's your choice. But maybe one day you'll accidentally knock one up and you'll be extremely happy about it.
No, no, no.
Yes, yes, Ailers.
It's not gonna be an accident. The,
You're gonna do it on
here's
purpose? I thought you didn't want them, Ailers.
here's the way it has to happen. A, we have to already be married, so I already have to be in a long haul with her to begin with. B, we have to talk about it because it's not going to be an automatic thing. And C, I have to lose that argument.
When's the last time you lost an argument?
I don't get in a lot of arguments. That's the thing. But if we talk about kids, it'll be calm, but it will be an argument because it will be uh it will be opposing sides of the issue. Well, maybe argument's a strong word, but the debate. I have
So
to
is your
lose that.
biggest heated argument or heated debate is your biggest thing that you just don't like kids because you want
I
to be
don't like
selfish and enjoy your time?
I don't like the idea of having to be responsible for a kid. Like when I was younger, that would be my blanket statement. Just I hate kids. But as I got older, I realized it's not so much that I hate kids as people. I just hate the idea of having to be responsible for them
You should do
because
my retirement plan. I'll tell you about it off air sometime. It's not really appropriate,
I mean,
but
but
I don't
like
know.
because
There's something about having a legacy. Have you ever thought about that and that just doesn't interest you?
not really no because because it could be like the same situation as me and my dad. I love my dad from the womb to the tomb my whole life, but we're so different. Like we have almost nothing in common. I'm not his legacy kid. If legacy is the word you're looking for.
Well, I mean, just letting your name carry on, having you go on through the ages. I mean, technically, you're a legacy. He was a legacy. I mean, it's just handed down. I have a true legacy in the fact that I named a kid after me. So there will be a Patrick
Yeah,
Adam Kimmel going on long after me, hopefully.
yeah.
But
I mean, if oh no, if I ever have to have kids, there will be a Matthew Jr. That is set in stone. If it happens, then it's going to be just
Matthew Archibald the second.
not Archibald.
Oh, if you don't name him Matthew Archibald, I'm gonna be so sad.
You know I'm not. Here's the thing:
That-
if I have more than one boy, I'll name the second kid Archie just for you.
No, no, Archibald. It has to be Regal. Anyway, so
It'll be Archibald on the birth certificate, but I'll call him Archie.
you do what you do. I'll call him Archibald with a British accent.
I
I don't even
don't
do.
know
I'm gonna have to learn an accent just to do it.
I don't think I've ever heard your British accent.
You don't want to because it's British, Australian, Indian.
Well, now I do want to hear. That sounds amazing.
No, it's horrible. It really is. It may be nothing. It could be everything, and from day to day, it differs. Uh, God, I had a point I was going to make with you, but we got so far off the point. Uh, I think you need at least one kid, if not two. But this is
I
a
mean,
weird topic to get on. How do we do this?
because it's one of those days where we get to talk about anything.
Freeform.
I mean, and I got nephews and nieces. I'm good.
Oh,
That's
I
enough
know.
responsibility for me.
I know what I was going to say. Have you not realized that you become your dad as you get older? Are you that different from him?
I am because, like, well, looks wise, I can see me turning into looks wise,
No,
but
I'm talking about like actions
no,
and phrases,
no.
and also could be that my dad had, he had 6 kids, but growing up there was 5 of us, and then
Well,
I
no,
have
because
4, and I say the same things to my kids that he said to me. I do the exact same actions, and some of the just I even sneeze like him now. I used to make fun of his sneezes, and I sneeze like his ass now. I don't even know how this stuff happens. Like it was never something I planned on doing, but I have become my dad, like in every sense of the way.
yeah.
Except I weigh like 2 of him, but still. I got
No,
that from the other side of the family.
did Oh no, I didn't get mine from any side of the family. I just don't take care of myself. I
Ah,
I, I
that's why you
am
need to live here with me.
I am
Come to me.
confident that I am the biggest fruit on the family tree. Like whichever
So
branch I'm
you
on,
that's why
it
you can't have kids.
haha, not that kind of fruit, you goon. No,
Uh,
I wish I had that as an excuse just because I wouldn't have to explain my greed and want to just stay alone without children.
no,
But
that's
but no,
becoming
it's
more of a societal thing. Like you said, there is a chance. There's a really good chance anymore of you finding a girl that doesn't want to have kids. Say 50 years ago, that wouldn't have happened. Everyone knew that they're going to have kids and they're going to raise a family. But now
yeah.
it's getting to be. I mean, I'm not so much for the whole me generation thing, but it has become more of an issue. So,
It's not even just so much the me generation. Like I think a piece of it is just the fear that you can do everything right and you could still have a piece of shit kid.
oh yeah, if you do
And
everything right, it's less likely. Trust me.
it's less likely, but it's not impossible. And that scares me too. Like I would hate to
Yeah.
be the parent that did everything to the best of your ability, and then you're still the one that's like, is that your kid taking a shit in the parking lot? Like, oh,
Well, there's a balance. If you overdo the discipline and if you're riding them all the time in the beginning, then they grow up to be that shit that rebels. I mean, I was an excellent kid, but I still have my rebellion point. I drank away several years of my life. You were there. You saw it.
I'm not talking. I'm not talking simple rebellion. I'm talking like in your adult life. I know there are people that you run into all the time that are just assholes, and not because they're rebelling against anything. That's just them in their day to day.
Yeah, I mean,
That's just their natural state of being.
but a lot of those were bad parenting. So if you did stuff right, you'd have the right stuff. I mean, Uh, I could share a story with my kids. I consider myself to be a pretty strict parent. I it's not like I'm ultra mean to my kids all the time. They got to toe the line every second. They're gonna make mistakes. I get that. But we went to the playground. We took them to the playground in the community, and there was a kid showed up with Downs, and it was one of the sweetest, funniest things you ever seen in your life because they wanted to play hide and go seek. And at one point, my 5-year-old was hiding, uh, or he was counting, and the Downs kid hid right behind him, and he turns around and sees him, and then it catches him that the kid just didn't think to hide properly, and he's like, "Oh, where did this kid go?" And looks all around weird, and then walks off and finds everybody else before he finds him. It's just stuff like that makes me realize I won't have that asshole kid. So you can do something right. You can control that.
Yeah, to a point. I mean, like I'm pretty sure that some of the worst people in history, their parents really tried.
Well, I mean, Hitler's dad told him that he had to be a faggot because he wanted to be an artist.
Yeah, but like the Unabomber's parents, you don't hear anything about them. Like, well, yeah, they blew his fingers off, and that's why he did that.
Most of the time, they were either too involved or not involved enough. That's usually where people go haywire. If you have someone that's way too disciplinary, and no matter what you do, you always do it wrong, or you have a disinterested parent who just lets you do whatever you want and never really cares, then they're always starving for attention one way or another.
Yeah.
And that's when you start eating people. Nom nom nom. Well, I think we got about 30 minutes of us talking about random stuff.
I like talking about random stuff.
I do
I,
too. It's I mean, this is our day. This is whenever we just chat on the phone. This is the random bullshit that we talk about.
yo,
So
um,
I don't
I
want
mean,
to go too
we
late. Sorry.
oh no,
Does it?
I mean, this is just proof that once, like, even if the XFL comes back, once there's that break between the XFL and the NFL, we can still we can still do this.
Well, by the time if the XFL comes back and we get the playoffs, and even if it doesn't, we're gonna have draft talk. Hopefully, maybe not. Who knows? By the way, we need to get this thing really built up because I think in 2 years, maybe 3 years, the draft is going to be in Kansas City, and you need to fly in because I don't have any friends that like football as much as you do. So I need you here for an up the gut live from the draft in Kansas City.
That would be so awesome.
Yeah, I mean, even if we're not built up, we're still going to do it, but we need to be built up so then we can have maybe some access.
Oh my god, could you imagine if we got to like do a pick? Even if it's like the 5th round, that'd still be dope.
I would love that, and you'd think it would be great, but I do have a public speaking thing. I don't know if I would be able to hold it together. I'd say something stupid, mispronounce a name or a college, or
I mean,
giggle inappropriately.
yeah, but I feel like when our brain gets going, as much as we talk serious about football, I feel like saying stupid things is kind of what we do.
I can say that I on a regular basis say stupid things.
Yeah,
It's kind of what I do.
and
So
not stupid like misinformed, stupid just because nobody can be serious all the time. That's just not fun.
well, my whole goal is to rarely be serious. Serious isn't fun. Serious is boring. I like to have a good time. And there's very few things in life that you can't take and turn into a good time.
Yeah,
Honestly. Give me an example and there should be a good time involved. You should enjoy yourself. I
I mean,
mean,
even just today, I put a post on Facebook about my kid catching the coronavirus. Again, I don't have kids. I was talking about my PlayStation, but apparently a lot of my friends thought that was hilarious.
I wasn't one of them.
Yeah, I saw that you
No,
hadn't.
no, I'm like, what's Ayler's getting at? And then I got to the PlayStation. I'm like, I see where he's going. But
Well,
as
then
long as you don't
I
have to
put
sell
an,
your
I put
PlayStation for drug
another,
money, you're all right.
yeah. Well, then I put up another thing the other day. It was a an Onion headline, a random one that I had heard and I thought was hilarious. So I put up on
I
Facebook.
love that headline. I love that one.
Oh, so you read that one? Okay,
Oh yeah, I read all your posts. Come on.
because another friend of mine who has kids and grandkids, she was not a fan. She gave me that like dark red frowny face, and I was like, "Oh, come on! It's not even a real article."
Listen, the people that ruin lawn darts could burn in hell as far as I'm concerned.
Well, the thing is, this article wasn't even about a real toy. It was all completely fabricated. But the headline read, uh, you know, "Awesome toy banned because of 3 stupid dead kids."
Man, Dead Kids
And,
isn't funny, but at the same time, that's a funny headline.
but stupid dead kids are hilarious.
It's funny because like the warnings they have to put on irons or shirts: do not iron on your body.
Oh my
Do
god!
not drink coffee if hot. I mean,
On,
come
on the
on.
on the silicone packet you find and stuff. Don't eat. Like really?
It's just that's the
Don't-
we have a sue happy half retarded population anymore. I shouldn't talk like that because everybody that listens to Up the Gut or Wrestling in Review is clearly top notch and
Wait,
very
wait, wait,
intelligent.
wait. Wrestling in review, your weekly wrestling recap.
Clearly, your weekly wrestling recap.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're talking about the same thing.
Yeah, so I don't know if anybody noticed, but there was some tweets put out by Wrestling in Review this week,
I did not see
and
them. Unfortunately, I didn't know Wrestling Review had a Twitter, so I haven't followed them yet.
oh yeah,
But I
it's at In Review, and review is spelled with a W. So
yeah,
it's
review WRE like wrestling. Yeah.
yeah, at In Review, like
Yes.
wrestling in review. So it says, just like people watching any Baron Corbin match, you're about to be disappointed. Due to illness, In Review is canceled until next week. Oh, where'd the other one go? I hope he didn't take it down. I'm not the only one that manages. In fact, I rarely manage this one, but I think the
Yeah.
other one says is just like Lacey Evans, we don't want to be around you nasties. So due to the coronavirus, In Review is canceled until next
I
week.
hope they get something going with Lacey Evans because so far she's been kind of a letdown. I think it's more because of creative. I really like her though as a performer. I
Uh,
think she does good stuff in ring.
Here it is. Lacey Evans has recommended avoiding all nasties. So due to the coronavirus, In Review is postponed until next week. So that's the In Review Twitter account. Clearly top notch, but yeah, Lacey Evans is super talented. I don't know that I like her Southern Belle gimmick. I'd like to see her switch it up a
Yeah,
little bit,
I do
but
like her finisher though.
do what?
I like her finisher.
Oh, the
The,
women's right.
yes, the women's right.
I don't think that should be a finisher, but yeah, I mean, I more so like her second rope to third rope jump twist, somersault thing she does, or backflip.
Yeah.
That is impressive.
I don't know. I've just always been a fan of like the knockout punch, like when Big Show had the WMD instead of the choke slam. I freaking loved it.
Really? I never
Yes,
did like that. I don't
I did.
like those punches. I don't like Jericho's Judas effect. I don't like those. Those are just moves. Those aren't finishers.
I don't like the juice effect only because it's harder for him to land a square one because he has to turn all the way around. He can't see him.
Hmm.
But, but yeah, the women's right, the WMD, even the Superman punch to a point. Not as much though.
I
But
like that just shows that you hate Roman Reigns because of the three that you just mentioned, that one's clearly the best.
no, the WMD was the best. I just
Why?
never
Because he held his fist up and went, "Rawr!"
because it was a one shot thing. Like Roman Reigns doesn't win a match with a Superman punch. He wins a match with like 4 or 5 Superman punches.
Yeah,
It,
they've watered it down.
yeah, but the WMD always ended a match if he landed it, and I like
See,
it
I
because
liked.
it's a power move. It granted it's super kayfabe. Like it's very rare that you end a fight like that in reality, but the story that they're so strong if they catch you with that, you're just fucking done. I love it. Oh
Yeah, see, I like that, but I liked it with Sweet Chin music before everybody used a super
yeah,
kick and watered
yeah.
it down. Sweet Chin music, that was where it was at. It could come out of nowhere. It could also be built up. So as far as a one hit, real quick thing, that would be mine. But I like moves like the pedigree.
Tombstone power.
Tombstone was good. Yeah, uh, just stuff like that. I'm trying to think of other ones. I don't,
I'll tell you what I didn't like. I didn't like the FU or AA or whatever you call it.
but I like the F5. But yeah, I don't like the AA.
Yeah, I don't like like the John Cena finisher never looked like oh my god. It's just like he just laid him down. Really.
Yeah, I mean it was. He should have just stuck with the five knuckle shuffle. Use that as it. I mean, the rock bottom even I liked.
Yeah, or the STF at least, because a submission's always good because you can always
Yeah,
just twist your body and make that look like it hurts.
an underrated finisher,
What's
the
that?
angle slam. I
Yeah,
like the angle slam.
I did too.
It
I,
wasn't. It was more along the lines of the AA is the fact where it didn't look utterly devastating unless Kurt Angle did it, and when he did it, it was
yeah,
glorious. Like he does just kind of like Bobby Roode's glorious DDT. It's not a normal DDT, even though Miz's DDTs usually look worse than that one. But still, he
yeah.
gets some good lift on it. Uh, so I mean, there's a lot of them in there, but when it comes to just a punch, I'm not down with that.
I mean, I am, but like I said, it has to be a good one. Or like or the jackhammer with Goldberg. I thought that was awesome.
No, that's a good one. Better than
Well, well,
spear.
well, the spear was never the finisher. The spear was the setup.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people use spear as finisher, but the jackhammer was good. I'm trying to think of. I don't know that I have a favorite finisher I can think of right now. I mean, the pedigree is probably going to be one of them.
I know my absolute favorite finisher is the freaking Widowmaker.
Yeah,
Oh, dude, the Widowmaker always looked nasty. I don't know how you're supposed to make that to where it doesn't hurt somebody. You remember the Widowmaker?
I'm trying to remember it.
I can't. Victoria did it. That
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 was
black.
like the Widow's Peak or something, wasn't it?
Yes, the Widow's Peak. Yes.
Yeah, that one. That was. I enj- I don't think I appreciated her the way I should have when she was wrestling. Whenever I was watching,
I think what her fall off was when she was with the what were they called when they were like the censorship group?
I,
You know what I'm talking about?
right to center or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
the
I
Widow's Peak was always pretty good, and the
that was so
Unprettier I
good.
always thought was pretty good too.
Yeah, I never wait. Oh yeah, no, yeah. The Unpretty
With
was pretty
Christian,
good. Yes. Oh, and his peeps.
that was actually going to be one of our openings, the Christian of XFL podcast, because we do it all for the peeps. Did I use that one or did I just write it down?
You just you haven't used that one yet.
Yeah, that was going to be one of them because I think I was talking to Chris last time we recorded. I said, I think that if I had to be like, Triple H is by far my favorite wrestler of all time, but
Yeah.
Christian is right there. Theme song, move set, mic skills, he had everything.
Which Christian theme song? Because he had
Uh,
the Into Your Eyes or whatever that one was called, which was super good. Then there was the one that was like Christian, Christian,
yeah,
at last you're
not
on
that one,
your
not
own.
that one. The
Okay,
Into Your Eyes or whatever.
yeah, that was a good one. I'll tell you this right now. Uh, Out of WWE, AEW, whatever, the best theme song is Cody Rhodes.
Just Close Your Eyes. And I actually listen to that song. It's in my Amazon playlist and it randomly plays. But what's Cody's? I don't even know what Cody's is.
Cody's is called Kingdom by Downstate. It's freaking awesome. I listen to that all the time. That's the hottest one right now. Not my favorite of all time, but current today in pro wrestling, that's my favorite theme.
Now, Evolution, theirs was really
That was
good.
a
And I
good one.
actually miss Randy Orton's Hey.
Oh yeah, hey, nothing you can say.
I actually
Baby.
wish he'd go back to that one.
I do like voices though, only because it's Shaman. I'm pretty sure it's Shaman's Harvest, and I like Shaman's Harvest because they're a Missouri band. You know, they're from home.
Yeah.
I actually think they're good.
I'm up and down with them. By the
Yeah.
way, Judas is a really good theme song. A really
I
good
was
entrance song.
surprised at how well Jericho can sing because Fozzie's been around for some years, and I
I saw
never
them in
gave them a
concert.
chance. Was it a good
They
show?
weren't that good up until no, and they weren't that good up until Judas come out. Like that was,
Really?
and
That was the
really, you could go through their whole catalog, and Judas is so far above the rest of their music. They hit it with that one.
is Painless off of the Judas album?
No idea. The only song I know by them is Judas right now.
Because I got another song called Painless, and it's not bad. I mean, it doesn't compare to Judas, but it's not a bad song.
Yeah, that looks to be around the Judas time. So yeah, I'm
But yeah,
just looking stuff up as we go.
because I never gave Fozzy a chance. I was like, ew, he's really in a band. I bet it freaking sucks.
Well, the problem is he's still him. So whenever he gets up there on stage, he's still Jericho,
Oh
and
yeah,
and he doesn't have to play a heel or a face, but he's playing the rock star, which most of his character has been throughout the years.
he's the Ayatollah of rock and roll.
So I don't know. I like Jericho through the years, and that was good. But I saw them in concert, and I wasn't overly
I,
impressed with them.
I will say this: as a wrestler, when I first started watching Jericho on WCW back in like the mid to late '90s, I was like, he's not that. He's a pretty good in ring performer, but I maybe it's because I was a stupid kid, but I was like, he's not that good as like a wrestler guy. Then he went to WWE, and I was like, yeah, he's all right. But now that he's kind of left both of those and really got to go to his own, back when he went to Japan and now with AEW, I take a look back now as an adult. I was like, oh my god, he's one of the best of all time. He
I've
really is.
always I've always enjoyed what he did, but I never really got behind him until he got with Kevin Owens and
Oh
the
yeah,
stupid idiot and the
and the
list,
list.
and that was that was some excellent character work. I mean, that was like Bray Wyatt level character work, like he's doing right now with his Funhouse.
I like what Bray Wyatt's doing now, but I'm not gonna lie, I do miss the old uh, cult leader Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, see, I didn't watch a lot of that, but the the whole fun of the Funhouse mixed in with the random like let me in, and
Yeah.
then the Fiend stuff. This is probably I would say this is the best character work I've seen in WWE ever.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, Triple H probably the best character work ever because you know you could
Uh,
have a
Undertaker
wrestler
gets some
and
pretty good character work, except for his like
no,
American
he's
Bad.
always been the same thing except for when he's American Badass, and even then he was the same thing, just an angry guy that beat people up. One talked more than the other. That's the only difference. But
Well,
Triple H,
one is a dead man and one is just a biker.
yeah, I mean, it's the same thing though. They're both just dead inside. Anyway, so uh so Triple H though, whenever you have wrestlers, and some people will hate you regardless or like you regardless.
Yeah,
But Triple H, when he was a face, everybody loved
everyone
him. Look
loved
at
it.
DX. Whenever
Yeah,
he was a heel, I've never seen people dislike him so much. But
yeah,
that's why I loved him nonstop all the time. When he's a heel, he was the best heel. When he's a face, he was the best face. The only thing that comes close to that is Randy Orton as a heel. Randy Orton's a great heel, but he can't do a face. I don't know that Randy Orton's ever been liked ever.
he's been liked in the fact that people respect his career and what he's done. That's why people like cheer for him because they love to watch him. But I don't. Yeah, he's never been a face ever, 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 ever.
No.
Because
Oh, I
he was
mean, he technically
yeah,
was when Triple H turned on him in Evolution, but that
that's
people were
one.
still booing him.
He was the lesser of two evils at that point, but he was still a
Yeah.
bad guy. But yeah, he's always been that punk kid in Evolution, and once he was on his own, he was the Legend Killer, where he picked on old people, and now he's
That
just
was
a
when I
guy,
liked him the best. It was Legend Killer
the
Randy
Legend
Orton.
Killer, and now he's at the point where he's just like, I just need to fight a random guy. Just, you know, I'm bored.
I went and
Oh,
watched SmackDown in Kansas City. I think it was, yeah. And for no reason, he came out and RKO'd someone after a match and then left. And that's all he did. And it
yeah.
was hilarious.
I think my favorite recent Randy Orton thing was when, uh, oh my god, I forgot her name. The Nia
Beth
Jax.
Phoenix? Oh,
No, when Nia Jax took our true spot in the Rumble and she took the RKO, that was freaking
she took
awesome.
a 619. She took an RKO. She took everything.
Yeah, like a champ. But before that, she did eliminate somebody. I don't remember who, but
Yeah.
she eliminated somebody.
Mustafa Ali or Ali, whatever you want to call
Yeah,
him. So, but yeah, I mean,
actually,
Randy Orton. Hmm?
yeah. Oh yeah, I thought we were about to change. So I was like, real quick, let me tell you who I really miss though. I
The
miss Enzo.
Hurricane.
Him too. That is my favorite wrestler ever.
I'm surprised that hadn't been brought up. He had some good character work too.
Yeah, I hated when he took the mask off and they made him heel. Like he's still a good technical wrestler. I mean,
Yes.
they let him be cruiserweight champ for forever, but I didn't think he was that great a heel. But when he had the mask on and was the Hurricane, that was some of the best stuff WWE creative has ever come up with.
Yeah, and the thing is back then it probably wasn't WWE creative. It was just, hey, go out and be you. And he's like, got it.
Uh, do you remember his big feud with The Rock when they let him beat The Rock?
You say remember it. I didn't watch it when it happened, but I watched it later. So yes.
Oh, I think that might have been around when you actually got into wrestling.
Whenever I got into wrestling, The Rock, he was gone. He came
Oh, was
back briefly, but he was gone. He was Hollywood by then.
he? Okay. But yeah, because you never saw it come. But yeah, he and the Hurricane had a feud, and they did like the backstage promos and stuff where they talk crap to each other.
What's up with
And,
that?
yes, and The Rock was like, "Are you ready to go one on one with the Great One? The question is, are you ready to go toe to toe with the superhero?"
So Enzo and Cass, rumors are they might be coming back.
I hope so, because I don't know what all happened to make them have to leave the company. I don't know what they did to get in trouble. But
You want
before,
to know?
I mean,
No, it was pretty stupid. But I mean, as you can imagine, Enzo and Cass, they probably got themselves in plenty of trouble. So it was probably accumulative for a lot of it.
it was Cass first because then they split up. Cass
It
left
was
the
Enzo
company.
first.
No,
It was
because
Enzo first.
Enzo was cruiserweight champ for a while there.
Yeah,
On,
and
on
Cass was
205.
injured, and then Cass came back, and he had the Daniel Bryan feud. But when he had the Daniel Bryan
Oh,
feud, I'm
that's
pretty sure
right.
Enzo was already gone, and that's actually what got him out. He was in a bad place personally, and he just didn't care and wasn't putting the work in. So they booted him.
Yeah,
I guess he beat up some midget, and that was kind of the final
not
straw.
Enzo.
No, and Enzo had some allegations outside of wrestling that turned out to be false, but they just cut ties with him right away. So
Yeah, because I wasn't sure exactly what happened. All I remember is that Enzo made a couple rap videos that were not good.
Yeah, and then he bought tickets to like SummerSlam or something and made a mess in the crowd. But they even did something where they like invaded Ring of Honor or something and and got people mad at him. The problem is they have a good stick. They don't do it when they should do it. They keep messing up. So
Yeah,
I guess they've been working out and they're getting back into wrestling now. So there's a chance that they could work their way back. And with the way things are right now, there I wouldn't think that the WWE wouldn't think about it because regardless of what you thought about them, those dudes put butts in seats.
yeah. Oh, when they first hit the main roster, when they were feuding with the Dudley Boys, oh, that was some freaking comedy gold. When Enzo took the mic and just talked such shit about Bubba Ray and T-Fon.
Oh yeah, he does that with everybody though. That's just what he does. That's what makes him funny.
Well, because Jericho outdid him when they were going back and forth, but when he yeah, that very first night, my favorite line was when he's talking to Devon, and he's like,
About his
Devon, I see.
lazy eye.
Yes, I love that. Devon, I see the way you're looking at me. Keep looking at me. I'm gonna slap you so hard and put that lazy eye right back to work. I was like, no.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed them. I think that he kind of kept getting a little more out of hand, but that beginning stuff was wonderful, and
It's
I wouldn't
fantastic.
mind seeing him back. I
I
mean
love.
that their theme song was my alarm for a while. I woke up to that.
Oh, SAWFT swapped.
Soft. They were catchphrase kings, not
Yes, they were.
unlike the Miz and Morrison. Hey,
The
hey, ho,
the
ho. Miz
yeah,
and
but
Morrison. Hey,
Miz and
hey.
Morrison aren't the smack talker Skywalker.
No, they are the greatest tag team in the 21st century, though.
Would you really
Yes.
better than the New Day?
Yes.
I don't know. Well, I mean, technically there are three of the New Day, and when they were heels, they cheated like a son of a bitch.
You do realize that that's what they call themselves, right? That's not just me saying that.
Okay,
That's their stick right now.
okay. Is that like on par from when freaking Shane won that trophy? He's like, I'm the best in the world. Like Shane, come
Nah,
on.
no, that's the OC. They're the best tag team in the world. They won the trophy.
I'm a little sad that the OC in WWE has kind of got downplayed. They never. I don't think they've got to be even tag team champions yet, have they?
They've been tag team champions. It was brief though. I'm pretty sure but they're
They,
also the greatest tag team in the world. They won the trophy. I think they could do a lot more with them. But they
oh,
got Carl Anderson, the toughest man in the building, with the toughest spine buster in the building.
oh yeah, because overseas in Japan, they were freaking unstoppable. They
Yeah,
they were, they were booked as these monsters, and they played the part really well.
they need to do a storyline with Finn Balor, AJ Styles, and Gallows and Anderson. That needs to happen.
Bring back the original. Well, can they? I guess they
They've
could go back.
never all existed at once.
Well, they did overseas. They were the Bullet Club.
They weren't together.
They weren't.
Finn Balor and Carl and Anderson's and Gallows and AJ Styles and Anderson and Gallows. But I think it was
But they're
AJ
all four.
Styles. Then no, it was Finn Balor then AJ Styles. So Finn Balor went to WWE, then AJ Styles took over. They didn't necessarily coexist all together because at one point both AJ Styles and Finn Balor ran the Bullet Club. So
Okay.
so they've never actually existed all four together at once. So I think that would make you could write that up properly, and that could be a hell of a storyline. There could be a power struggle, don't know who to go with. They'd work together, but in the end, they'd have to turn on each other. Who is Gallows and Anderson going to pick? Neither. Then you tag team against. You have AJ Styles and Finn Balor. I mean, you could run that thing for a year easy,
Yeah.
easy. And you just started off by having them run roughshod over everybody like Evolution did. That's what I don't like about the factions they do in WWE now. They always like with Seth Rollins and his disciples right now. They're
Is that
only
what they're called?
focusing. Yeah, there's disciples. It's the Monday Night Messiah and his disciples. But they're
That's
focused in
right.
on Kevin
I'm
Owens and the Viking Raiders. Man, that's not what Evolution did. Evolution messed everybody up. They were the best, and they didn't care who was there. They just beat everybody.
Yeah,
And that's what they need to do with either the Undisputed Era, bring them up and let them run roughshod over everybody, or do the OC with Styles and Balor and have them over all three brands, just messing everybody up. And then eventually you got the power struggle, and then you play that for a couple months, and then that's when Gallows and Anderson go out on their own, and then you got the tag teams going.
yeah.
See, I should write for WWE. I just wrote a year-long storyline for them. That would be the best thing that's happens in who knows how long.
I think creative WWE could use some fresh blood because they do rehash a lot of old stories, just change the names.
Let me in.
Granted, yeah,
Well,
that
Aylers.
I love the Fiend, but I still prefer Cult Leader Bray. He
Well,
was
I didn't watch a whole lot of Cult Leader Bray. I caught some of the afternotes later, but
he
he
was
was
so
good.
good.
But
Well, I shouldn't say was. He's still really good on the mic, but when he was the Cult Leader and he did like the long promos, oh, that is
no, I
that.
liked him. One of my favorite things, and I still do it on a regular basis. Run.
Oh yeah, well, not just run, just like he'd be out there and talk for like 5 minutes, and you never got bored.
Well,
Because
that's why they have Rambling Rabbit now. You know that, right? It's all the characters are based off of his previous character. You got Huskus because he used to be called fat, overweight.
yeah, he was
You got Rambling Rabbit because he would ramble through his stuff, and I forget what the Vulture is, but they all have meaning to what people would criticize about his past character.
the Vulture is based off of a different wrestler from like back in the day, Doc Mercy.
If you say so.
Well, that's why he's Mercy the Buzzard.
I mean, if you say so. I don't know how it ties into his character, but I'm sure it does.
I think he's just probably like paying respects to him.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe they I don't know. Again, I just remember Rambling Rabbit because of how people say he rambled through his promos.
Again, I wouldn't call that rambling. It was so good. His best one you can still find on YouTube. He and Jericho were about to have a match, and they did a promo where it was just the two of them sitting face to face in a room, and Bray went on for like 3-4 minutes straight, and it was just so good on the mic. I missed that Bray Wyatt.
I'll take your word for it. Like I said,
Oh,
I missed a lot of that.
I'll send you that video because you're my good friend. I want you to experience this.
I'll look it up before you get a chance to send it to me, unless you do it right now.
No, I'm not going to do it. Ah,
Well, I think we're about an hour and 40 minutes in. I don't know what you're going to use from this. We've talked about a lot. I don't know if people like it.
I'm putting the whole episode up except for our warm up at the beginning. That's about it.
Yeah, I'm okay with
Because
that. So
granted, this was our least football centric episode because of outside
it's all
circumstances.
your fault, coronavirus.
Yeah,
Actually, it's the media's fault. We're not even pretending.
yeah, and it's kind of our fault. I had some technical difficulties, and you went on a crime spree due to depression.
I was very distraught. Okay, it
Oh,
wasn't technical. I was distraught.
look,
I
I
was
get it.
distraught.
Look, as a Packers fan, having to watch that NFC Championship game, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah. So anyway, but we will. I don't know what we're gonna do, but if you
We will
happen to
definitely
listen
be back
and you
next
have
week.
any recommendations, just throw it
Yeah,
out there. Who knows what'll happen?
we will
And
be back next week. We don't know if there's going to be any football to talk about. Well, if not, we'll be here and just talk about stuff.
yeah, I mean, we don't necessarily have a timeline because it's not like we have to beat out the game, but we'll be here. And we just need to keep hassling Aylers to get his setup a little bit better, and then we'll start doing this thing live, and then we can take live comments, and I think that'll make the show
We'll
what
start
it
doing this
needs to
thing
be.
live, and then people will see us and go, go back to pre-recorded."
Listen, I just bought a suit. I may do the show in a suit, be the best dressed in the biz.
Why you gotta show me up like that?
Because man, Because I don't have a reason. I didn't know I was showing you up. I just
Y-
figured I was trying to
Actually,
keep on your level.
that's fine. You could be my Paul Heyman.
I'm on a new level. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen,
My name is Patrick Kimmel.
and my client,
Kimmel. I just had to
my
go with the Mr. Anderson line or Mr. Kennedy, whichever one you want to go with.
oh, Mr. Candy / Anderson.
Yeah, I am Mr. Kimmel.
Kennedy.
Kimmel.
If you can get one of those drop down mics for your set, that'd be perfect.
Well, it shouldn't be within the next couple of months. I'm actually going to relocate and we'll have an actual set and I'll have green screen and I'll have everything. So
Right on.
things could be pretty awesome on my end. And if you would just come here, I'll set up. I've got areas and I'll set you up next to me and we'll work together, but you won't move out of that god awful state.
Look, I'm one of the 4 states that hasn't had a coronavirus case yet. So
It's because
winner,
there's
winner.
nobody there.
Exactly. So winner, chicken dinner.
There's 3 moose there that have it. You just don't know about it yet.
They're elk, sir.
There's moose, meese, the
There,
meeses.
there are.
All right. Well, this has been a good show. I didn't expect it to go this long, but I hope people enjoy it. I look forward to doing more. And this has been Up the Gut.
Yeah. Tell your mom about us.
Up the Gut. A play in American football in which the player runs the ball through the middle of the field through defenders.